In her civil lawsuit, Cassie said that she was the victim of abuse, assault, and at the hands of Diddy.
Those individuals allegedly included high-ranking supervisors in the business, personal assistants, security staff, and household staff.
Diddy's empire is crumbling faster than anyone could have ever predicted. Once hailed as the king of luxury, music, and high society, he now finds himself at the center of one of the most shocking scandals in recent memory. His reputation as an unstoppable force in the entertainment industry is being dismantled piece by piece as new allegations surface daily. But how did we get here? How did we get here? How did we get here? How did Sean Diddy Combs, a man who built a billion-dollar empire, become the target of such devastating accusations? The answer lies in a web of troubling claims, risky decisions, and a lifestyle that many have described as out of control.
Wait a minute. Say that again. Say that again. Back up. You're saying that there's tapes and they're being shopped?
Yes, there have been people already shopping.
We've heard about the tapes, but
yes.
The shopping thing is
yes, there already have been tapes leaking around Hollywood, being shopped around to individuals in Hollywood. But one particular person contacted me to shop a particular video they were in possession of.
Let's start with the accusations themselves. What began as a lawsuit filed by his former girlfriend, Cassie Ventura, has now spiraled into a full-blown federal investigation. Cassie's claims were the first domino to fall, alleging years of mistreatment and manipulation during their decade-long relationship. While Diddy's legal team quickly settled that civil suit, the damage was already done. The lawsuit opened the floodgates for others to come forward, and boy, did they ever! In the weeks and months that followed, a growing number of individuals began sharing their own stories, painting a picture of a man whose private behavior starkly contrasts with his public persona. What was once whispered in industry circles is now front-page news, and the details are as jaw-dropping as they are grim.
Diddy would be throwing all his celebrity mates under the bus.
I mean, that could potentially be coming when it's time for court and when it's time for him to testify. But what we're seeing right now is how important public relations really are to Sean Combs. He's desperately trying to control the narrative behind bars, allowing his attorneys to do documentaries.
Federal prosecutors have since accused Diddy of running what they described as a highly orchestrated operation. Allegedly, it wasn't just about personal missteps or bad decisions. This was systematic. According to the indictment, Diddy's business empire wasn't just about music or fashion. It was a vehicle for maintaining control over people, particularly vulnerable individuals trying to make it in the entertainment industry. The accusations include claims that he manipulated people into compromising situations, using promises of career advancement or financial support as leverage. The indictment even references elaborate gatherings that were allegedly designed to serve his personal whims. These weren't just parties. They were, as the prosecutors claim, carefully planned events with a darker purpose.
Today, just to tell the truth, so hopefully we can get down to the bottom of this. I'm 100%, the charges against me are 100% false, and hopefully due to time, we'll stop.
And here's where things take an even more shocking turn. Diddy has been accused of attempting to influence witnesses and manipulate the case from behind bars. Yes, even while sitting in a federal detention center, the man who once ruled the music charts is reportedly pulling strings. Prosecutors allege that he's been using his connections and wealth to contact potential witnesses, trying to sway their statements or ensure their silence. According to court filings, Diddy made dozens of phone calls shortly after his arrest, some of which were allegedly aimed at people who could testify against him. And if that wasn't enough, there's even talk of him directing family members to dig up compromising information on his accusers.
Hey, real quickly, all that commissary stuff, he's not getting any of that because people in the shoe have an abbreviated list. So he's out of luck. No stake for him. Yeah, he is on watch. This guy thought he would have went home. All of a sudden, he didn't get bond. Remember, the first night that he was there?
It's the kind of behavior that raises eyebrows and questions. Why would someone with his resources and influence take such risks? Did he really think he could outmaneuver the federal government? Or was this a sign of desperation? A man grasping at straws as his world comes crashing down? Whatever the case, it's not looking good for Diddy. These alleged actions haven't just hurt his defense. They've also given prosecutors more ammunition to argue that he's dangerous and untrustworthy. His repeated bail requests have been denied, with judges citing concerns that he poses a flight risk and could continue tampering with the case if released. But the allegations don't stop there. Enter Precious Muir, a former model and one-time Playboy bunny, who has added her voice to the growing chorus of people speaking out about Diddy. Precious recently shared her experiences at some of his infamous parties, and her account is nothing short of chilling. She described feeling like fresh meat at these exclusive gatherings, which were attended by a mix of A-list celebrities and up-and-coming talent. According to Precious, the atmosphere was one of extravagance and indulgence, but beneath the surface, there was an unsettling dynamic. She claimed that young and vulnerable individuals were often invited under the guise of networking opportunities only to find themselves in situations where they felt powerless and objectified.
Guys, we are lucky to have Precious Miura here, and she's been at the Diddy parties, and she's about to spill some secrets.
Precious's revelations have struck a nerve, especially as they align with other allegations about Diddy's behavior at these events. She recalled being transported to one of his parties in a luxury vehicle, along with several other models. What she thought was an opportunity to mingle with influential figures in the industry quickly turned into an experience she described as both overwhelming and dehumanizing. We were seen as new faces, new talent, and very vulnerable, she said in an interview. It felt like we were being evaluated, like people were deciding what they could get away with. Her words paint a disturbing picture of an environment where power dynamics were heavily skewed, leaving little room for consent or autonomy.
Okay, so basically I was a Playboy bunny. So a Playboy bunny representing New York State. The reason why I need to clarify this is when you're a Playboy bunny, you are part of the corporation, and you are a bunny, and you do have a title and you wear a uniform, but you don't get a month.
And then there's the matter of surveillance. Precious also alleged that some of Diddy's properties had hidden cameras in places where they shouldn't have been, including bedrooms. While she stopped short of accusing him directly of using those cameras for nefarious purposes, the implication was clear. The idea that anyone could be recorded without their knowledge or consent is enough to make anyone shudder. It's worth noting that these claims haven't been substantiated, and Diddy's legal team has categorically denied all allegations. Still, the very fact that these stories are coming out now, amid an already explosive case, adds another layer of intrigue and suspicion.
If they did in fact occur, their argument is more than likely going to be that this activity was consensual, that this person was a willing participant, and not only that, but that these individuals assumed the risk of being present at those parties, of engaging and voluntarily engaging in this conduct and being in those spaces, consuming and things of that nature.
What's truly damning, though, is how these allegations fit into a larger narrative that's been building for years. Diddy's parties have long been the stuff of legend, with stories of opulence and excess that seemed almost too wild to be true. But now, those same stories are being re-examined in a much darker light. What was once dismissed as harmless fun is now being scrutinized for its underlying power dynamics. Were these gatherings just an extension of Diddy's larger-than-life persona, or were they something more calculated? The answer to that question could have serious implications, not just for him, but for anyone who ever attended one of these events. And let's not forget the role of celebrity culture in all of this. For years, Diddy was untouchable, a man who seemed immune to the scandals that have taken down others in Hollywood and the music industry. His name alone was enough to open doors, and his influence extended far beyond the charts. But with great power comes great scrutiny, and now it seems the walls are closing in. The question is, how much of this could have been prevented? Were there warning signs that people chose to ignore? And if so, why?
You know, it's still pretty early in the proceedings. I think it's only been about a month or a month and a half since he's been arraigned and held in detention. And so the investigations are always going to be a continuous and ongoing process. I'm sure at this point there's been an exchange of discovery. And not only that, but I think there's been a gag order placed on the attorneys with information that they can and cannot share.
Perhaps the most telling detail in all of this is how quickly Diddy's inner circle appears to be unraveling. Reports suggest that some of his former associates are now cooperating with investigators, providing key information that could strengthen the case against him. It's a classic scenario. When the ship starts sinking, the rats jump off. But in this case, those rats could end up being the key to unraveling the entire operation. If even a fraction of what's being alleged is true, it's hard to see how Diddy comes out of this unscathed. As the legal battle rages on, one thing is clear. This is far from over. The federal investigation is still ongoing, and new details continue to emerge almost daily. Each revelation adds another layer to an already complex case, making it increasingly difficult for Diddy's defense team to mount a credible argument. And with public opinion turning against him, the court of public opinion may prove just as harsh as the actual courtroom.
In the public realm, this is very significant, just from who we associate Diddy being and everything we've seen him do over the decades. Like you said, this is quite the downfall to go from, we saw the mansions back in March that were raided by the feds. So to go from living in those mansions to being in a jail cell right now, I think it really underscores the magnitude of what he's facing and the weight of the federal government.
The allegations against Diddy have also reignited a broader conversation about accountability in the entertainment industry. For years, powerful figures have been able to operate with impunity, shielded by their wealth, influence, and carefully curated public images. But as more people come forward to share their stories, that shield is starting to crack. The question now is whether this case will be a turning point, a moment when the industry is forced to confront its darker side, or just another scandal that fades away once the headlines move on?
I think it's to be expected, just the shock of this and the questions about what is ahead of us. I mean, how long is he going to be in custody? Is this an R. Kelly situation? Is he going to not get out for a number of years? Is he going to end up serving a long-term prison sentence from this? Or does he have a chance of beating these charges at a trial that could come?
Whatever happens next, one thing is certain: the stakes couldn't be higher. For Diddy, this isn't just about his freedom, it's about his legacy. Will he be remembered as a trailblazing mogul who changed the face of hip-hop, or as a man whose empire was built on manipulation and exploitation? Only time will tell, but for now, the future looks anything but bright. This brings us to the heart of the matter. Diddy's past may hold the key to understanding how he ended up here. From his meteoric rise to fame to the darker rumors that have followed him for years, the story of Sean Combs is one of contradictions. And as investigators dig deeper, they may find that the seeds of his current downfall were planted long ago. Could the skeletons in his closet finally be coming to light? And if so, what else might we discover about the man who once seemed untouchable? This is where the story takes an even darker turn.
Right. Well, Kim Porter, that is Diddy's ex, who's also the mother of his 3 of his children,
right,
has detailed the alleged abuse that she suffered at his hands.
Oh, no.
And this is all in a memoir.
Let's take a deeper dive into Diddy's past, where the shadows grow even darker and the questions get more chilling. For years, rumors have swirled about the mogul's potential involvement in some of the most infamous moments in music history. From high-profile rivalries to shocking losses, Diddy's name has been whispered in conversations that suggest a different side to his success, a side that has remained largely hidden until now. But as investigators dig deeper into his current case, it seems those old skeletons are rattling louder than ever. Could this be the moment when the past finally catches up to him?
Named Diddy 77 times in court documents related to Tupac's murder.
One of the most persistent rumors surrounding Diddy is his alleged connection to the unsolved shooting of Shakur. For decades, theories have circulated about who was behind the tragic incident in Las Vegas. While no one has been officially charged, many believe that the East Coast-West Coast feud between Bad Boy Records and Death Row Records played a major role. Diddy, as the head of Bad Boy, has always denied any involvement, but his name has come up time and time again. And now, with his current legal troubles, certain details that were once dismissed as conspiracy theories are being revisited with fresh eyes.
The only man currently facing charges in the case, Dwayne Keefe D. Davis, claims that Sean Combs, also known as Diddy, paid for a hit on Tupac.
A bombshell revelation came earlier this year when Dwayne Keefe D. Davis, a former gang leader, was arrested and charged with orchestrating Shakur's shooting. In court documents, Davis reportedly implicated Diddy, claiming he had offered a staggering amount of money to have both Shakur and Suge Knight taken out. Davis alleged that Diddy made the offer during a conversation with him and others, saying, "I would give anything for that dude's head." Whether or not this claim holds any weight remains to be seen, but it certainly reignited interest in the case. And with Davis now facing trial, investigators are reportedly looking into whether Diddy's role in the feud might have been more significant than previously thought.
Right now, Davis is fighting for bail ahead of his murder trial, which he has pleaded not guilty for.
Shakur wasn't the only casualty of this bitter rivalry. Just 6 months after Shakur's passing, Diddy's own protege, the notorious B.I.G., also lost his life in a similar fashion. Biggie, who was one of the brightest stars on Diddy's Bad Boy label, was gunned down in Los Angeles in what many believe was retaliation for Shakur's shooting. This was the event that shook hip-hop to its core, and it's a tragedy that has haunted the genre ever since. While Diddy has always maintained that he had no knowledge of or involvement in either incident, some have questioned whether he did enough to de-escalate the tensions that led to these losses. Greg Kading, a retired Los Angeles detective who worked on the case, has been vocal about his belief that Diddy's name is more closely tied to these events than people realize. In a recent interview, Kading said his true character seems to be surfacing now. Maybe there is another side to him that he's managed to hide all these years. Kading's comments have added fuel to the fire, prompting many to wonder whether the mogul's alleged actions during the East Coast-West Coast feud could finally come under greater scrutiny. And if that happens, the implications could be devastating, not just for Diddy, but for the entire legacy of Bad Boy Records.
It has taken countless hours, really decades, of work by the men and women of our homicide section to get to where we are today.
But the whispers don't stop with Shakur and Biggie. Another name that has surfaced in connection with Diddy's alleged darker side is Kim Porter, his longtime on and off partner and the mother of 3 of his children. Kim's sudden passing in 2018 shocked the world, and her cause was officially listed as natural causes. However, in the years since, questions have been raised about the circumstances surrounding her passing. Some of those closest to Kim, including her father, Jake Porter, have expressed doubts about the official story, calling the investigation into her case a load of nonsense. Jake's skepticism has only grown in light of Diddy's recent arrest, with reports suggesting that authorities may take another look at Kim's case.
Person that really put their hands on women really is men who have feminine traits. So, it really takes a coward to put his hands on a woman. So, a man is so strong enough, we can just walk away. You can do, there's so many different things that you can do other than get upset, put your hands on a woman. But that comes from a man who's not quite a grown man.
Adding to the intrigue is Al B. Schur, Kim's former partner and father to her eldest son, Quincy Brown. Al B. Schur has been outspoken about his belief that Kim's passing wasn't as straightforward as it seemed. In a series of social media posts, he referred to her loss as a tragic incident and called for a full investigation into what he described as a potential cover-up. According to Al, Kim had been working on a memoir in the months leading up to her passing, a memoir that reportedly contained explosive revelations about her time with Diddy. Al claims that the manuscript mysteriously disappeared, along with several of Kim's personal devices, including her phone and laptop. While these allegations remain unproven, they've added yet another layer of mystery to an already complex story.
It was all, insecurities. Anytime a man would go out his way to wiretap someone's phone or put taps in their homes just to monitor their conversation, that's a sign of insanity. So when you see someone doing that, you can imagine everything else they do.
And it's not just Kim's case that has people talking. In recent months, Aaron Carter's name has also been linked to Diddy in ways that have raised eyebrows. Aaron, who passed under tragic circumstances in late 2022, reportedly made a series of cryptic statements about Diddy in the weeks leading up to his passing. He even tweeted saying, "Let's talk, man to man." While it's unclear what Aaron was referring to, some have speculated that he may have known something significant. Aaron's ex-fiancée, Melanie Martin, has also raised questions about the circumstances surrounding his passing, pointing out inconsistencies in the official reports. Could there be a connection between Aaron's story and the growing case against Diddy? It's a question that many are now asking.
Everyone keeps saying to me, like, how did you keep, why did you keep going? Why were you there? I'm like, it literally is around me. If I don't stay at home, this is the atmosphere I'm in. Like, I have no choice.
As if all of this weren't enough, Diddy's name has also come up in relation to some of the most shocking allegations to hit the entertainment industry in recent years. From claims of hidden cameras in his homes to accusations that he used his influence to manipulate those around him, the picture being painted is far from flattering. Precious Moyer, the former model who attended several of Diddy's infamous gatherings, has shared her own unsettling experiences, describing an environment where power dynamics were weaponized against the vulnerable. "There's a formula in this industry," she said. "It's all about control, who has it, who doesn't, and how far people are willing to go to keep it." Diddy's legal team has, of course, denied all of these allegations, calling them baseless and defamatory. But the sheer volume of claims and the high-profile names involved makes it impossible to ignore. And with federal investigators now looking into Diddy's past, it seems likely that more revelations could be on the horizon. Could the man who once seemed untouchable finally be facing a reckoning? And if so, what will it mean for the industry as a whole?
I don't know the consequences of what that could have been. So I didn't really talk about it. I should have gone to the police. I should have said something other than to my agent. I'm just thankful that there was somebody there. There was somebody at that party who helped me, because I could have ended up in a really bad situation.
The timing couldn't be worse for Diddy. With the entertainment world still reeling from the fallout of other scandals, there's a growing sense that the days of unchecked power and influence are coming to an end. The mogul's current situation is being seen by many as a test case, a moment that could determine whether the industry is truly ready to hold its most powerful figures accountable. But as the investigation continues, one thing is clear. The story of Sean Diddy Combs is far from over. Could this be the beginning of the end for one of music's most iconic figures? Or is there a chance that he'll find a way to rebuild his empire once again? Leave your comments below and let us know what you think about these shocking revelations. Until next time, stay tuned for more jaw-dropping celebrity gossip.